Let's go. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Public Utilities Commission meeting, Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. Jason, want to take roll call?
Hassan.
Here.
Quorum.
Here.
Adams.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Nolan.
Here.
Preisel.
Here.
T-Winkle.
Here.
All right. Everyone's here. So we got the sheets going around that everyone needs to initial. So Joyce, I know you came in, so some of them may have passed you.
Just, yeah, they're just the payables.
Okay, I'll catch them up.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
And
Go to number 2, approval of December 10 meeting minutes.
move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 3, discussion and possible action on service center office renovation. Kip?
All right, you do have an issue sheet on this. So with the wastewater staff moving to the service center in the spring of 2020, due to the wastewater treatment plant improvements, space for them is needed here. I'm proposing ending space inside the west side of the service center to accommodate their needs. 3 companies were contacted for proposals for small renovation that would provide the wastewater staff with the space needed. 1 company has responded and provided a proposal for this work. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? So over in the section over on the west side of the building here, inside, there's the big area over there. Basically, I just want to put 2 walls up, which is going to give them their section. Take the carpet out, put tile down because they come in with their boots and things. But it gives them their workstations up here because they will be here, once that renovation is underway and especially once it's complete. They will be showing up here in the morning and leaving here. So we do need to give them somewhere, a desk area where they can have their computers, where they can keep some of their stuff, their lunch pails, things of that nature. So that's what we're looking at. So like I said, I did contact 3 companies for proposals on this. The only one that got back to me was Derrick Building Solutions, and their proposal was for $18,095, and you can see their proposal in here and what it all includes and that kind of stuff. So we're just putting up. If you look at the little conference room over here, it's going to look almost identical to that, except just won't have the doors and the windows. It's going to have 1 door and things like that. But we're only going to go up so high, so we don't have to mess with the heating and ventilation and things. There's a few light fixtures that just have to kind of be moved around, things like that. So we did in 2020 budget. I did budget $22,000 for this, and. So we'd be spending about $18,095 on this to have that done, and then the remainder would be for the desk that hang on the wall, chairs, just minor things that they're going to need, their bins, stuff like that. So
any idea on costs? So $22,000 is total budget.
Total budget for that.
How many office spaces or workstations will you have in there?
It's going to be, we would use 2 of the 4 walls. I don't really want to use the ones with the windows, the outside windows, just because I don't want to clutter them up with desks and things like that. I'm guessing I can probably get 6 workstations out of there, 7 workstations out of there. They don't need, when I'm talking the desks, it's the full run, just like what's in the staff quarters now. It's the full run desk. It runs along the whole thing. Basically, you put the overhead bin up so they have somewhere to keep their stuff, keep paperwork, their hard hats, different things like that. But I'm guessing we'll get 6 or 8 easily.
Do you have
in there?
Total budget for everything is $22,000?
Yeah, I did.
$4,000 gonna be enough?
Oh, for them desks, I would assume.
And chairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not going to be fancy.
Okay.
Because they're coming in with their work boots and their work clothes and things like that. So.
Does this have to go through a bidding process?
Well, it went through. I went through the. I solicited for them, and I only got 1.
Okay.
So.
Did the others respond with why?
Nothing. nothing back at all.
How long ago did you send out for the bids?
This one was back,
So is it
December.
published or just invitation?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
It was published?
No, we don't have to publish up
It's not
until
published.
30,
Okay, so it doesn't have to go through bids?
no,
Okay. Does this council have to approve this?
no,
Okay.
no.
Well, XL, they had cubicles over in there, I think, when we took it over. I guess that's the other option, but those aren't cheap either.
Not,
Are
no.
they gonna be doing everything you're looking for, Kip?
Sorry?
Are they gonna be doing everything you're looking for?
Yep, yep. Otherwise, I don't know where I'm gonna house them when they're here,
Well, we
I mean,
bought,
we
we
can-
bought the space to house everybody and to grow into it,
you know?
so.
That was the plan.
All right, anybody have suggestions, discussion on this? Maybe we should, reach out to the people we sent the bids to again. I don't know if we're gonna try and solicit that again and ask them if they'd like to throw their name in the hat or not. I mean, it'd be nice if we had more than one bid.
Well, but this is already published, so then they know
Right.
what they're competing against. I'll
Sure,
move to
I guess.
approve.
Okay,
Second then.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 4, discussion and possible action on 2020 service rates.
Okay, in here, these are the state, Department of Transportation service rates. We do this every year. Basically, it just says, it's got pretty much every type of equipment, that possibly we would use. So if we ever have to bill out for anything, you know, where we would end up helping somebody, but this also comes into play if there's ever a natural disaster type thing, to where, you know, if there is a natural disaster, let's say, you know, flooding, tornado comes through, things like that, and we have certain equipment out, you know, if we have a pickup truck out doing work, or, you know, I guess right now I'm just on like a lawnmower, or, you know, you got a sickle bar. So anything that comes into play, in a natural disaster, we have to account and track all of that. And then these rates are I believe, what would be used, to pay us back, you know, like through a FEMA fund or something like that. So every year we adopt the rates, just so we have them on record that they've been adopted. So if we ever do need them, I've used them once in my career. So it's not like they get used a whole lot, but at least it's on record that we did adopt them. And I believe city council's adopting them.
They will be.
Next-
It'll be on your
next-
January 20th
Whatever your
agenda.
next meeting is. Yeah.
Okay,
Monday.
Beat them to it.
I'll make a motion to approve 2020
Second.
service rates.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 5, project updates, project status report. Okay.
Okay, it's also in your packet, I got it on the screen too. Wisconsin Street Tower rehab, we're just starting the design phase on that. So we will be moving forward on that. Last month, we approved the LOE from SEH on that. And I got a phone call today that we're gonna see a different one. When they actually did their, it was approved for, it'll be coming back to you at the February meeting. We approved $37,000 some odd dollars. When SEH put it all together and everything's there, but when they actually did the addition, they didn't add it right, and the complete total that it should have been is like 41. So they're gonna send us, an adjusted with a letter of what actually happened on their parts. So you will be seeing that again, on the Wisconsin Street Tower project that we can talk about next month. Cross connection inspection, we're 100% done with that. So that's great news, but we'll be picking that up again in April. So that'll go back down to 0% again, completed at that time. The State Highway 35, I had a meeting on that about 2 weeks ago. So they're about 60% or so on there, which has to go to the state sometime here in the next couple months, so it can be looked at down there and then get into the state bidding package to go out. either late this year or right after the first, first part of 2021 for 2021 construction season. The wastewater treatment plant project, 100% of the design phase is done, and it is currently down at DNR in Madison, waiting for review. So once that is completed, we're hoping very, very soon. Once that is completed, we should be able to get that out for bidding. And I guess I'm gonna leave it up to you guys if you want that to come. Do you want to authorize it going to bid, or do you not care? Because you're gonna get the bids anyway. So basically, it would just be. I don't need your authorization to go to bid, but you want to give the authorization to go to bid. And you can't do it now because we're not doing it, but it might hold up the whole project if I have to wait for another utility commission meeting. So here's my plan. If anybody has an objection, you can object to it. My plan is as soon as it's ready to go to bid, it's gonna go to bid. And then it'll be about a 4-week bid. Then bids would come back, they would be opened, and then at that point, it would come here for approval. And then because there is, it's a major project with major financing in it, it would also go to city council.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, it's not on the budget, so we can't make a motion to approve it.
No. What do you mean it's not on the budget?
Well, it's not on the agenda.
Not on the agenda.
No,
It's not on the
no.
agenda.
So I'm just telling you what I'm gonna do, just so everybody's aware.
Well, you don't wanna
Informational
hold it up
Well,
for
purposes.
another
it's
month.
No,
for
we don't.
informational,
We
and
know
I
it's
guess,
coming down the pike anyways. so
yeah,
it'd be-
and I don't, we officially don't need anything to go to bid, because you're gonna receive it anyway after bid, so.
Right.
So just, maybe I misspoke there.
Well, we've already committed to the project.
Right.
We know it's happening.
And the commission has agreed that we put it in the
Yeah,
budget, so.
and the financing is going, we're working on that. I just had Kathy, it's kind of, there's a little section in there where we need a legal opinion on our property and things like that, just that we're gonna continue to own it for the life of the loan, that we're not gonna sell it and things like that, so. So we'll be working through all that probably here relatively soon, getting going on all that kind of stuff, so. Utility vehicle storage building, we're about 25%, I just met with them. That is actually, it was sent up to City Hall today, I believe, to be put on the planning commission.
Okay.
So that will go to planning commission. We'll go through all the steps, just like every other building has to go through. It'll go through planning commission. If there's any comments from them, it would come back, to the engineer, to me and the engineer, and then we'll have to make any adjustments that they might have, and things like that. We don't anticipate anything. It's a pretty standard building, steel building. Colors are gonna match. We're not going, outside of any height limits. So we don't plan on anything. Kurt will push it through for us.
Seems pretty customary.
So-
You've got the verbiage on there, and I've been gone for a few meetings, so this is a replacement building for the wastewater treatment plant, correct?
Correct.
And that's where the dollars are coming from?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was this building was in the wastewater budget.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay,
Unless there's any questions on anything.
nothing? All right. Number 6, other business for information purposes only or for upcoming agenda.
At the last council meeting, we talked about the water conservation rates and that's gonna be coming back. Kip, do you have anything to?
So at the last,
Commission?
at the last finance, actually.
That was
is where
finance, okay.
Yeah, so at the last finance meeting, the irrigation rate was discussed. As everybody's aware, we're currently, in the process right now of a rate case that we were required to do through our tariff or through our order back last fall. So we have sent down all the paperwork for the rate case. Last month, I think it was last month, when finance, last month or 2 months, anyway, a little while ago, finance had asked about what can be done about the irrigation rate. So what came out of that was we have actually contracted with a company called Trilogy, who we're also using for a couple other studies that we have, to look at our rates in what can be done with them. So I actually have a meeting tomorrow that we are going to be discussing kind of where they're at. So what will happen is Trilogy will do a study on our rates, and they will present that to probably this commission and also to the city council. And then at that point, we would turn that over to the Public Service Commission to see what they think of it, because, you know, the Public Service Commission is the final authority on what happens with your rates. We don't set them. We can make suggestions on how we would like them set, but they make that final determination. So I have contacted Public Service Commission just to let them know that we have hired Trilogy to help us with this, and so they are aware of it. Right now, currently, like I said, back in October, November, whenever it was that we actually submitted the rate case, Public Service Commission is aware that we've hired Trilogy. An actual rate case right now will take anywhere between 8 to 12 months to go through, okay? So nothing starts down in Madison until it's assigned an auditor, okay? It has not been assigned an auditor yet. So it's kind of sitting down in Madison in a holding pattern right now. Once Madison decides to assign it an auditor, that's when the clock starts ticking. From the time they assign it an auditor, they have 90 days to finish it. But there's ways around that. Every time that, so let's say they would start it today. The clock would start ticking 90 days. The law says they have to have this done and implemented within 90 days. So if any new rates would come up, it would have to be 90 days. The backside of that is anytime a question arises that they need a response from, restarts the clock again. Okay, so, you know, they could start the process and we don't hear, they assign an auditor, we don't hear anything for 60 days. They come back, and they will come back with questions, I can guarantee you that. They can come back with a dozen questions. What that does is it restarts the clock again. So then they have another 90 days to continue with that. So this is not a fast process. So we have to understand that. But like I said, in the meantime, we are working with Trilogy on options that we can do, hopeful options that we can do to make any adjustments that might be beneficial. Might be I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but to give us options. And like I said, those options would then go to PSC, and then they're gonna look at that, you know, and working together with the City of Hudson and the Public Service Commission, trying to figure out what's gonna be the best way for rates in the City of Hudson.
So it's unlikely that any rates are going to be changing before probably fall or winter.
It is
Probably winter.
I can't say, again, this is how quick the Public Service Commission moves in Madison. It has nothing to do with
Yeah.
us.
No, I know that.
I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening this summer.
Okay.
Yeah, it could. You know, not to say, I don't know how backlogged they are.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how understaffed. I don't know what their situation is down there. All I know for sure is that we were on time submitting our application, but now it's sitting in Madison in a holding pattern. And there's nothing that says it can only sit in a holding pattern for X amount of days, months. There's nothing that says it can sit there just until they're ready to assign an auditor to it.
After the first summer of the rates, did we have a lot of concerns come in?
That's
We
why
did. Okay.
the city was asked to
Was it
look
discussed
at
at
it.
previous meetings, or
I don't.
Was-
Not here.
Not here,
Not here,
no.
okay.
It was discussed at the finance
finance
committee.
committee? Okay.
And it's been on Facebook, so people
Okay.
are complaining on Facebook, and that's what, that's what got the attention.
Mm-hmm.
And Randy brought it to the finance committee and said, you know, we need to look at this and make sure that we understand what's going on.
Yep, and we've
So-
discussed it here before.
Yeah, we did.
I would like to ask though, I mean, and this is kind of too how you referenced it, Joyce. At what point in time did it become called the water conservation rate? I mean, it's,
It's an irrigation rate is what
Oh,
we call
okay,
it.
yeah, it's an irrigation rate. But we had.
I mean, water
okay, no,
conservation
okay,
rate sounds friendly,
right.
but it's an irrigation rate.
Right, but when we talked about it here, we did talk about encouraging water conservation.
I do
So-
recall.
so
And that's when I questioned our mission statement, which
Right.
never went anywhere.
And, and you're right, it's not officially a conservation rate.
Officially in our tariff,
It's an irrigation rate.
Correct.
Yes.
I just want it referenced
Okay,
correctly.
yeah.
I mean, water conservation rate sounds warm and fuzzy.
Yep. Yeah, it's an irrigation.
It's an irrigation rate.
Yes.
Irrigation rate's not that ominous either, so.
Well, it is to an irrigator though.
Okay. Sure.
Well, I mean, it hit people hard.
Do you think people were surprised by it? Because, I mean, we talked about it, we knew it was gonna go up, and there were projections for it too.
Well, so,
And the projections were spot on.
spot on what?
We projected that it would be like 90% increase. And it was
Were
just about
people
that.
surprised? Yeah.
Well, I know, but my point is that, like, we voted on it, council voted on it, right?
Well, but it's been brought back to the council and the finance
understand.
committee. It's not on
Absolutely.
the agenda, so we're not supposed to be really discussing it, but,
Mhm.
And ultimately, the PSC are the ones that really
R-
proposed those rates and accepted those rates, correct?
Well, they didn't propose them.
No, the, well, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, it's a collaboration between the city of Hudson and the PSC on how you settle. You have to settle on what you need,
Yeah.
and it's just a matter of how you get there.
It'll be nice to see the study done and see how comparable we are to other
It-
utilities.
No, it's not gonna compare. And maybe I didn't explain it right, but what Trilogy is going to do is they are going to look at the city of Hudson, what do we require? Because that's what the PSC is looking at. What do we require for financing to operate a
So
utility?
funding, basically.
Funding. What are we required? Now, how do we get to that funding? You know, so is there other options available or other ways to get to that set level? That's what they're gonna look at. I don't wanna speculate on what they're gonna come back with, you know, at this point, but that's what they're not gonna compare us to other communities. They're gonna compare us to ourselves. And they're just gonna say, okay, you know, you have to get to this level. Here's one way to get there, here's two, you know, here's A way to get there, here's B way to get there, here's C way to get there. Now, you guys pick what way you wanna go. That is not necessarily what's gonna happen, but that is what would be suggested to the PSC to say, here's how we can meet our financial goals and what we need. Do you agree, do you disagree? And then at that point, Public Service Commission is gonna look at it, you know, and there could be some back and forth, it could be combining one, I don't know. But that's what all Trilogy is going to be giving us.
The last time, did the PSC just approve exactly what we requested, or did they make changes?
No, a lot of it came from them because they were pushing the irrigation rate.
Okay,
You know, that was the big thing, was irrigation rate. One way to, you know, get there is through that irrigation rate.
okay.
So
That's
so
something that I
so
think the
that's
public
what
needs
was-
to understand.
Well, so that's what was pushed. It was not only pushed at PSC, but it's pushed at the Department of Natural Resources also. You know, where they want to make that conservation. So then, you know, the decision was made. Okay, how do we get there? Okay, well, if we raise the irrigation rate, we can get to, you know, the levels that we need and things like that. But it's not going to increase your domestic use costs that much. Now, they did go up, it was 1% or 2% or something like that. But, or actually it went up more than that. I think your domestic use went up 12 or 13%, but some of that was offset because the fire protection went down. You know, because we have more customers now to pay that fire protection fee. So that lowered it for everybody and things like that. So, but that was all explained, you know, to this board, it was all explained to the city council. Now, you know, if it was understood or not, I don't know. We hope it was.
Well, that was
you
a
know-
while ago,
you know,
so we've
type
forgotten
thing.
a lot of what was said.
You know, but you know, like Andy had said, we had proposed, there were sheets that were handed out that laid it out and said, here's what's gonna happen, you know, with everything. And you know, when finance put those together, they were almost spot on. You know, where we said, here's what's gonna happen to your irrigation rates, you know, this one's gonna go up that much, that percentage, and they're almost spot on. So, you know, we went back, since finance, we have went back and looked at that and actually compared it to actual bills, you know, what people are actually doing. And it's almost spot on. What we said was gonna happen is what happened. Now, is that right or wrong? You know, that wasn't my call to make, but now people are concerned about it. So now, you know, we'll look at it, and that's what we're
Bring
gonna
up the
do.
discussion.
I mean, that's
You
the
know,
biggest thing.
for
I mean,
sure.
we can notice people all we want.
Right.
I mean,
Until they see that bill, it's not
until
gonna
they see the bill. I mean,
get
it's no
through.
different
Yeah.
than, you know,
Yeah.
for example, I mean, the sales tax in Wisconsin could go up and 98% of the population wouldn't know it until they got hit with it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mhm.
we pay attention to it,
yeah,
and we all have the little things in life we pay attention to. Water rates, as evidenced on Facebook,
Mhm.
a lot of people had no idea.
Yeah.
So,
And to be fair to the utility, people were notified of this.
I understand that.
You know, so this wasn't something that, you know, just kind of hit them 1 month, one whole, you know, when, you know, we did our due diligence on getting it in the paper, getting it, you know, into each bill, you know, had stuffers in it. You know, we tried to offset, with starting the new rates in October, instead of June or July, like we were supposed to do according to the law. We actually got an exemption, because once those rates were adopted, we had 30 days to install them. And I want to say they were adopted in like May, June, July, somewhere in there. So we had 30 days to install them. Well, that was right during irrigation season. So we went back to the state and said, we're not happy with that. Can we have until October? Everybody should be done irrigating. That gives us chance to get the bill stuffers out, to get the information out there. Hopefully people were watching the TV when this was happening, things like that. And they can prepare for it for next April, May, when they're gonna start irrigating again. They can prepare that it's gonna be a higher bill. They're gonna pay more for it. You know, so we tried to do the best we could, to get that information out there. But I agree, Kurt, like you said.
And I don't
not
know what the
everybody-
right answer is.
Not everybody pays attention, and that's life. It's
They
just
just
the way
don't.
it goes.
Simple as
So-
that, but
Okay, you know, what percentage of households have irrigation systems? Do you have any?
I'm gonna say it's probably close to.
Or a
it's
separate
probably-
meter, I should
It's
say.
probably close to 50%.
Okay, they have a
Really?
50% have a separate meter.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's probably close to that.
yeah, and then, but that
I would
does,
say between 40 and 50.
okay,
It's-
and that doesn't include, homeowners associations and things like that.
That would include, yeah.
That
it
would include,
yeah.
okay. Do you have any handle on how many of them have smart systems that, you know, measure the there's no way of knowing
No.
that at all, okay? Because
No.
that would be
It
interesting,
would be-
information to know would be,
It would be
how many would benefit from something like that?
Yeah, no, we have no way of knowing, you know, based off of,
Okay.
information that we gather when, you know, when we do our meter cross connection inspections, things like that. We're not looking for that, you know,
Yeah.
and again, I mean, that is, I don't wanna push it, but that is a homeowner issue.
I agree.
You know, a homeowner has to take some responsibility
Yes.
to, if they're gonna water smart. You know, water,
Yeah.
you know, just be smart about it. So there is some homeowner responsibility in this where, you know, if there is smart meter project or smart irrigation, you know, controllers out there, you know, your sprinkler heads, your rain sensors, you know, making sure that you're not watering your entire driveway, you know, and just your sprinkler. I mean, so, you know, there is things that can be done to do this. And those were all sent out too, along with the information too, so.
Okay. So I guess my question is there a better way to educate the public about these things? Maybe a segment on the cable channel might be a good idea to talk about these water
It
issues.
sounds like Facebook might not be a bad spot
Yeah.
to put it either. If that's where people are going to put their feedback and their reviews, I mean, it might not be a bad idea to try and put a little more.
But I think,
You know, the thing is that, the utility doesn't wanna get locked into, at this point, promoting something.
I
that-
understand,
that-
yes.
That we can't,
we're not,
I can't, the utility cannot promote something, privately,
okay.
I guess, does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
You
I mean,
know,
and we
I can't
can't.
say, use Dave's smart system because it's gonna
Right.
save you money. I can't do that.
No, I understand that.
Totally we can't do
I'd like, just like, you know, when people need to install the stop so that they don't the backflow
Yeah.
things, you give them a list of all the
Right.
companies that are licensed to do this, because you can't promote one over the other.
Right.
So we have to, I understand, we have to be very cautious about those things. So working within that parameter,
Well-
what can we do?
And as we go through this process, did it make a difference? You know, if you look at rates, if you look at the irrigation rate itself, did people water less?
I think
Was there any conservation,
Well-
is there any correlation between, you know, the cost going up and water usage going down in
I
that
believe-
area?
We'll know more once we do our PSC report, which brings all of our totals in and things like that. But again, you know, this summer was not a big irrigation summer either.
Well, now that they've seen their bills, they may make some changes for
You
this
know,
summer, so
So,
that,
you know, I'm sure that there was, you know, a ton of conservation, you know, because people do care. You know, it's not only about how much they have to pay, but, you know, and they do care about, you know, conserving water and saving water and, you know, trying to do the best they can with what they have and things like that. But, you know, I'm sure that there is conservation going on, but there's also weather factors that come into play, you know, and things like that, so, we'll know more this year, once we do our PSC report and put all the numbers together and kind of get everything where we compare to, you know, other years and things like that, so.
Any other business? Cool. All right. Number 7, sewer utility and water utility cash reports.
Those were handed
Those are
out.
handed out.
Okay.
So I
Any
have one
questions?
question when we get around to the claims. Yeah.
So I can't, well, with not being up.
They're not there.
Yeah, with not being up here. So you guys have them in front of you. You can see where we're at with beginning balance and then balance as of December 30th on both, December 31st on the sewer cash reports, so. If there's any questions on them. And those are informational, we don't need a vote on those.
Okay. Kurt, did you have a question or something you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, on claims. Just for clarity, SEH,
End of the month, I have no idea. It's-
T-Mobile Deer Path, AT&T Deer Path security deposits. Just curious what those are.
Those are, we require, because we have telecommunications on our towers. Okay, so anytime that they want to, they're gonna change an antenna, for example, okay? Part of, we don't allow them just to go up on our tower, change an antenna, and just do whatever they feel like doing. So they have to submit shop drawings and all that kind of stuff. Here's exactly what we're gonna do. Here's the weight of it, you know, here's the wind shear, all that kind of stuff. So they submit that. So what we do is, anytime that happens, we require who's ever gonna do the project, you know, if it's AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, whoever, we actually require them to put a security deposit down. That money is then used for SEH on our behalf to look at those plans and blueprints to make sure that the wind shear, the weight, none of that is going to actually affect our tower. So it's pretty much a pass-through for us. They pay AT&T, Sprint Mobile, or T-Mobile,
Everybody,
whoever it is, they pay.
An escrow account, an
Yeah,
escrow
they
amount.
pay that to have SEH on our behalf, look at that.
And so
and
those
then
were,
make any
those were
adjustments.
tower projects of the appropriate company that SEH billed us for, and then we just deduct from their escrow account.
Yeah.
So it's a not properly worded. It's make the security deposit, it's,
Yeah, because it's money they're never getting back.
nope, but it's not, I wouldn't use that as the title for that
Right.
expense, but
Yeah,
it is on
Good
this.
clarification.
Yeah.
The only thing I had on your,
I think you took a moment.
on your claims is, I think it's page 48 and 49, 50, 48, 49, and 50. Just mistakenly, there's some Hudson library pages that got stuffed in there. So we are not, I just want to be clear that we are not paying for programming
For children?
for children. We're not, we do not buy the Wall Street Journal.
I was wondering what we possibly needed from Oriental Trading.
Yeah.
Isn't it obvious what we need?
So that was just a mistake that they just got slid in there, but, so those will actually come out, so.
Need a motion to accept the claims.
I'll make the motion to accept the claims, other than the joint library claim.
We got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And adjournment. Motion approved.
Move to adjourn, no, did you, second?
Move, second with Joyce. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.